Do you ever scroll on Instagram and see your old friends from high school posting about their vacations? People are going to Bali, to Paris, Maldives, Bora Bora. I don't even know how to get to Bora Bora from Canada. I think I would have to take 2 or 3 planes and a boat to get there. Meanwhile, you're sitting at home eating ramen, wondering how everyone around you seems to have so much more money than you. And if you've ever felt this way, like you're the only one struggling while everyone else is out there living their best life, I need you to know something important. You are not behind and you're definitely not alone. If you're new here, my name is Alice. I'm a CPA turned entrepreneur and YouTuber. I quit my 6-figure job back in 2023 to pursue online business, and it has been the best decision of my life. But as someone who has seen a lot of financial situations, I can tell you that what you see often isn't the full story. In fact, there are many people who look very rich, but are actually in financial distress. Today, I'm going to walk you through why everyone seems to have more money than you, reveal the psychological tricks that make you feel behind, and more importantly, help you realize that you're probably doing better than you think. Now let's talk about the social media illusion that's messing with your head. But before I tell you the real reason why you feel financially behind, there's something about social media that a lot of financial experts rarely discuss. And understanding this could completely change how you feel about your money. Here's what is actually happening on social media. People share their highlight reel, not the reality. That friend posting from Bali, she might have put the entire trip on her credit card. That colleague that you know with the new BMW, it could be a lease that's eating up 40% of their income. Now, according to a recent study put out by Credit Karma, nearly 40% of millennials have spent money that they didn't have and gone into debt to keep up with their peers. The lesson here is don't spend money on things that you can't afford to impress people you don't even like. And according to this survey by NerdWallet, nearly 2/3 of Americans, 65%, believe that social media has increased overspending. Sometimes these purchases actually lead to buyer's remorse. Now, I've experienced this myself before too. You probably have. You buy something because you see someone else have it on social media, and then you're like, this wasn't even that good, or I didn't really like it that much. Sometimes these purchases lead to buyer's remorse. And the same survey shows that 18% of Americans have made a purchase because they saw something else on social media or someone else have it, made it look really, really good, that they ended up regret making. Let me give you some real examples. We have Materialistic Mindy here. She posts about her designer handbag collection on social media. But the reality is that she's put all of those purchases on her credit card, and now she has $50,000 of credit card debt with no emergency fund. This is actually not an uncommon scenario for influencers who haven't monetized their followings yet. And then we have Foodie Fiona. Now, Foodie Fiona is always posting from expensive restaurants. Okay? She loves eating, she loves food, she loves to cook. And the reality is that she's spending 60% of her income on this lifestyle of always needing to go to really, really expensive restaurants and eating really nice food. But she only has $2,000 in savings. And then we have George the Globetrotter. I think we all know someone like this who is just traveling the world, living life, getting the best shots in the best locations. He is that guy that's living the life in Dubai. He's riding hot air balloons in Turkey. He's gone on an African safari. He's gone to that giraffe hotel in Africa. You know which one I'm talking about. A lot of the time, these material items and the highlight reels really just ends up becoming monthly payments. Okay, everything ends up becoming a monthly payment. It costs money to look like you have money. Most of us are conditioned to think that cars are a symbol of wealth, but all a car is a huge monthly payment, just so you can look like you have money. Real wealth is invisible. Quiet millionaires, people who have humble jobs and save and invest money into the markets, they don't post about their investment accounts or their emergency funds online because it's not appropriate and it's not social media worthy. If you are comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reels, you're going to feel broke no matter how much money you have. The people who look the richest online may or may not be the most financially stable. But this is what might shock you when it comes to financial psychology, and it might explain why you feel behind even when you're actually doing pretty well. There is something called reference group bias, and it can destroy people's self-confidence. Basically, we don't compare ourselves to the average American. We compare ourselves to the people that we see the most often. So I have been going back to spin class. I have been hitting it 6 days a week at 6 a.m. in the morning. It's been a while since I've had my son that I've been able to get into a routine and rhythm like this, but It's been really, really good. I've been loving it. You know, when you go to those classes, not all instructors are the same. Like some of them are more motivating than others and they all have different teaching styles. But there is one instructor that teaches in the morning when I go and I really like her. It's just like 60 minutes of full EDM at 6:30 in the morning and like her just like yelling at you the whole time. Speaking of reference group bias, you know when you go to spin class, there's that like one girl that's like super hardcore. She's super snatched. She doesn't miss a beat. She's going at like 2 times the pace of everyone else in the class. And this girl usually sits like front center of the class. I've been trying to book the seat right behind that front center seat just so I get that extra motivation when I'm there. Because for me, it makes a huge difference how quickly everyone around me is going. And so lately, as I'm getting back into it, I've been trying to sit behind the most hardcore person in the room as I feel ashamed and guilty for all the ice cream that I've been eating lately. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what reference group bias is. Here are the facts when it comes to money. That's not good. So here are the facts. The median household income in America is about $80,000. The median net worth is $192,000. If you live in a major city, you work in a professional field, or you follow certain people on social media, your reference group is way wealthier than average. So for example, if you make $75,000 and you live in a city like Nashville, you're actually doing better than 60% of Americans. But if all your friends work in tech and they make $120,000, you feel poor by comparison. So here's the reframe that you can apply to your own financial situation. I really believe that every belief that you have and every situation that you have in life, it can be reframed for the positive because all life starts in the mind. Step 1 is to look at the actual national statistics, not just your reference group or your social circle. So if you have $20,000 saved by age 28, you're actually ahead of most people your age. Step 2 is that expenses always scale with income. Your friend might make $150,000 a year, but they might have $4,000 a month in student loans. They might have a $3,000 mortgage or rent payment. And they might have really expensive lifestyle costs, and their extra money might actually be less than yours, right? It's not just about how much money you make, but also your freedom money, which is how much you have left over every month. Step 3 is to focus on your financial trajectory, not your current position. So are you saving more than last year? Are you paying down debt? Are you building good financial habits? That in itself matters more than, having a specific dollar amount as of today. And step 4 is to think about the higher version of yourself. The higher version of yourself, what does that person do with their money? In order to change your money mindset and adopt better financial habits, there's this very popular saying that you have to first be the person that you want to be, and then reality will catch up. Would you agree that people who build real wealth for themselves are the go-getters? They focus on their own progress, they focus on themselves, they focus on making consistent improvements on themselves over time. Would you agree with me? It's always the people that are thinking and talking about others and their whole life is about other people. Those are the ones who never seem to make real progress themselves. Point 3, hidden financial struggles that nobody talks about. Now, there's something that might completely change how you view other people's finances, and it tends to be the reality that a lot of people are hiding. The truth is, most Americans are financially stressed regardless of how they look on the outside. The actual data and the studies show that 64% of Americans, that's a lot of people. If you think about it, there are over 300 million people in America. 64% live paycheck to paycheck. 60%, again, out of 300 plus million, cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. And unfortunately, America and North America in general is just a debt-laden society. Like the average American has $6,194 in credit card debt that's accruing at 20%. Another thing that's really surprising is that these 6-figure salaries really don't mean much. Half of people that are making these 6-figure salaries still live paycheck to paycheck. So your colleague who always has the latest and best iPhone, they might actually be financing it. Your friend with the perfect apartment, they might be house poor, spending 50% of their income or more on rent. That family member who seems to have everything all together, they might be drowning in debt, but just too embarrassed to talk about it. So here's what I know from being a CPA. High earners often have high expenses. So making $120,000 doesn't really mean that much if you are spending $115,000 of it. Lifestyle inflation is real. You've probably heard this before. Work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion. Parkinson's law. I think it's the same thing for money. Our lifestyle expands to fit the amount of money that we have in our bank accounts. People tend to spend whatever they make, regardless of the amount. Financial stress affects everyone. There are people who make $200,000 a year that might be more financially stressed than someone who's making $50,000. Because the more money you make, the more problems you have, and the more expenses you have, and the bigger car and the bigger house you have, not less problems. So that's why it's really important to handle your problems and handle your lifestyle when you are still making small amounts of money, because otherwise you will not be able to handle big amounts of money. Does money make you happy? I feel like people who always say that money doesn't make you happy are usually the ones who don't really have any money. I feel like I'm not qualified enough to answer this question yet. Ask me again in 5 years. The key insight is that income doesn't equal wealth, and in my opinion, wealth is just one part of happiness, not the entire part. Some of the happiest people I met in my life are people who just live below their means and they have strong financial habits regardless of their salary. No, financial struggle is universal. It's not a personal failing if you are struggling financially. And understanding that can just be incredibly liberating. You're not behind because you're bad with money. You're human. You're living in a system that's designed to make you spend. And you are surrounded by all of these messages that you need more to be happy. Point 4, what does being on track actually look like? So here's something that I wish people had told me when I was growing up and comparing myself to other people and feeling like they had much more money than me. And it's the real definition of financial success that no one talks about. Real financial success isn't just about having a certain amount of money by a certain age. It's also about building sustainable habits and making progress towards your financial goals, right? So being on track, what does that look like? You're consistently saving something. Your life and your financial life all derives down to the small habits that you make every single day. So if you are consistently saving something, even $50 a month is better than $0 a month. Another point is you have some sort of emergency fund. Even $500 of an emergency fund already puts you ahead of 40% of Americans. And if you are getting and taking advantage of any employer matches to your 401k, free money is free money, regardless of the amount. So as long as you are not going backwards, you're not adding to debt, you're not reducing your net worth, and you are building your assets, I would say that that's a win. Having a plan and working towards a plan already puts you ahead of most people. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you should know where your money goes and have some goals and work towards them. So here's a financial reality check that you can apply to yourself. Instead of asking, do I have enough money? Ask yourself, am I building good financial habits? Because having enough money is an outcome. Instead of asking, why don't I have as much as this person has? Ask yourself, am I better off than I was last year? And instead of asking, should I have $300,000 saved by 26? Should I have $700,000 saved by 32? Ask yourself, am I consistently working towards my goals? People who build wealth, lasting wealth, they focus on systems and they focus on habits, not really arbitrary benchmarks or comparisons to others. Financial success is personal, right? Your goals, your financial goals, your timeline, your definition of enough, these should be based on your own values and your own life. So just to recap everything we talked about today, social media creates an illusion that everyone has more money than you. But most of what you're seeing may or may not be the full picture and might or might not be real. Psychology makes us compare ourselves to the wrong reference groups. And the truth is that the statistics show a lot of Americans are actually financially stressed regardless of their income. Real financial success, right, whatever that means for you and your goals and your ambitions, is really about building good financial habits and making consistent progress, not hitting arbitrary benchmarks or keeping up with other people. It's good to have role models as long as they are positively inspiring you, not negatively impacting you. So here's what I want you to remember. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Practice gratitude. No matter how hard of a situation you're in, always practice gratitude. Every small step that you take forward to better financial habits is going to move you in the right direction. You have to be grateful first, and you have to be that person, the higher version of yourself. People who look like they've got their whole lives figured out, most of them might just be as confused and stressed as you are. The difference is that now you know the truth. Okay guys, if you like this video today, I posted a video a while ago on how I, as an accountant, would manage my own income and expenses. I go through a pretty thorough Google tracking sheet that you can consider when you're looking at money in and money out. It's a pretty simple system that you can use to build confidence in your own money decisions. I encourage you to check out that video up top. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about this video, how social comparison impacts you and your life. Remember, it's all about measuring what actually matters for building wealth and focusing on yourself and where you want to go. Make sure you check out that video up top. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until next time.